Dawahli saw you in the playground, he'd start talking to you about something that you were interested in. The increase in the school fees, or how difficult geography was, as though to distract your attention from his person. Or he'd take you by the hand and pull you aside and bend you over and whisper in the accents of one imparting an important secret that he'd heard that the Arabic teacher was going to call a pop quiz tomorrow, so you'd better get ready. Then he'd pat you affectionately on the shoulder and move away. Dawahli did this so that we'd like him, or at the least so that his niceness to us would shame us into not hurting him anymore. But all his efforts were in vain. We'd listen to his exciting news, accept his help, and thank him. But our exchanges with him remained tense and surrounded by danger, coming at a certain point to teeter on the edge of embarrassment, and then suddenly flipping us back into our mockery and insults. Miss Sohan disappeared, and we heard that she'd been transferred to another school. In her place, they brought Mr. Hammond, who was extremely tall, with piercing white eyes and a frowning face, and whose long, thin cane with a pointed end that stung our backs and our hands if we slacked off a little during the exercises, never left his hand. He was a new teacher and severe, and as soon as he saw Dawahli sitting on the steps of in his school uniform, he called him over and asked him why he wasn't wearing his gym clothes. Dawahli hung his head and didn't answer, and the teacher warned him that he'd better turn up in his uniform the next time. In the playground, we surrounded Dawahli and asked him about it, and he told us very plainly that he'd never wear gym clothes. He asserted that students who had special circumstances, such as his own, were forbidden to wear gym clothes, and everyone knew that. Despite Dawahli's assertion, something about his voice and his eyes made us feel that he was in a tight spot and didn't know what to do. The next time we had gym, we took our places in the lines in readiness for the exercise. We looked around for Dawahli, but couldn't find him, and he wasn't sitting on the steps as he usually did. Our eyes scanned the whole playground until we discovered him. He was there, hiding behind the large tree next to the cafeteria. He had concealed his body behind a huge trunk, his head peering round it to watch what was going on, very like an ostrich trying to disappear. But in vain. The teacher spotted him and yelled out his name. So Dawahli hurried over to him. His teacher forestalled him by saying in a threatening voice, "Did you bring your gym clothes?" Dawahli was silent for a moment. Then, to our astonishment, he nodded his head, and the teacher said, "Go and get changed and come here. Come back here immediately." A murmur ran through the boys. This was the bombshell of the season. Dawahli wearing shorts and gym clothes. We were going to die of laughter at the sight, and lay into him with mockery and teasing until he could take no more. We were possessed by an overweening curiosity and powerful malign desire of the sort that takes over the people watching a wrestling match. We wanted at that moment to harm and hurt and enjoy. Our eyes hung on the steps on which, after a moment, Dawahli would reappear. We were restless with eagerness, like young wild animals, smacking their lips in anticipation of the prey. We didn't have to wait long. There was Dawahli, coming down the stairs, looking much stranger than we'd even imagined. The gym shirt made his breast stick out like a woman's, and his big belly hung down and shook this way and that. The shining whiteness of his fat thighs and his incredible buttocks, divided by the shorts into two closely spaced segments of equal size, one rising while the other fell, were there for all to see. All of us were consumed with hilarity. Even the teacher, whose lips parted in a wide grin. We began clapping, whistling, and shouting. El Aswany! El Aswany! El Aswany had to cross the playground to get to us. But we couldn't contain our impatience and rushed over to him and formed a circle around him, laughing and applauding. The Aswany started behaving in a strange way. He started laughing and pretending that he couldn't stop himself. Then he started to walk doubled over so as to exaggerate the way his buttocks stuck out and to par his belly. He'd made up his mind to make himself as much of a laughing stock as he could. And this was his way of getting out of the situation, as though telling us, see, I'm so funny. I make even myself laugh. What more do you want? This approach displeased us somewhat. The Aswany's artificial laughter diluted the strength of our mockery. Without his pain and anger, our joy was incomplete, and our wicked impulse drove us imperiously on to the end, as though we were possessed by demons. We didn't even pay attention to the teacher calling us from behind to come back. We went to Aswany and set about assiduously abusing him, more than one falling on him and slapping him and pulling him. At that instant, we were no longer laughing at his appearance. We were now laughing simply to cause him pain, and that we could break that shell of indifference under which he hid his sorrow. And Aswany would not give in. He went on faking his laugh and walking doubled over, but we increased the attack further and further until one of us said something about him suckling babies with his breasts, and we burst into even greater laughter. It was only at that point that Aswany stopped walking and started flinging his arms about violently in an attempt to hit us. All his blows went wide, however, and he fastened his eyes on us and opened his mouth to say something. Then his lips quivered and he burst